All right, we're recording now. So I'm going to progress through this. We're going to try to do it in about 35 to 40 minutes and answer all your questions. Not all of the solutions I'm going to present to you for digital whiteboards will work for all of you, depending on what type of equipment and things you have. Okay, so there are Google Meet rules. We're going to toss them out the window. Please feel free to unmute your mic and interrupt me at any point in time. I'd rather have this be a conversation than a lecture, okay? If you have a lot of noise going on in the background at your house, you might need to remute your mic just so that we don't pick that up. All right, there are basically 4 different options that we're going to talk about for Google Meets, for digital whiteboards. All of them involve one premise, though, and that is that you're using Google Meet and that you are in presentation mode so that the students see your screen. Okay, they all require that piece. If you're unfamiliar with that piece, I'd be glad to stay after and go over that with any of you. But essentially, when you're in a Google Meet, if you just move your mouse to the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see Present My Screen. You choose Entire Screen. Then you click on the little square box that pops up in the top middle of your board. It's like a little smaller version of your screen. And then say Share. And then the students will be able to see whatever is on your screen, including all of these different digital whiteboard solutions that we're going to talk about. Okay, some of them work with touchscreen devices. Not every.
Here's what I found on the web.
That's my phone picking up me saying Google and activating it. So give me a second here and I'll turn the volume down so that doesn't accidentally happen again. All right. So not all touchscreen devices work in all the different digital whiteboards. The software has to be written in such a way that you can use it. So touchscreen devices at Shen, we essentially have one model that really works. It's called the Lenovo 500E. Some of you may have it, like Jen, I think, has it. Right, Jen? Yep. Okay. And some of you may not. I can't help you with that. You can cry at me and you can yell at me, but that's not under my control. That goes through your administrators to IMS and they allocate as necessary. So the Lenovo 500Es are the ones that all of our current 6th graders and current 9th graders have at Shen. And they have a little stylus in them that looks like this. If you're looking at the little picture of me, if you're not, it doesn't matter. It's a little plastic pencil that works on the screen, allowing you to write, because we all know how hard it is to write with a mouse. So there are some different tools that will work with that. And we'll talk about 2 of them coming up on the next slide, Classflow and Jamboard. There are digital whiteboards that you can use without a touchscreen device. Those 2 that we talked about and a couple others. However, that means that you're going to be using your mouse to write on the screen. We will also talk about using a document camera / cell phone as a way of bringing content in that students can see and that you can interact with. Okay. A lot of the buildings purchase document cameras, the IPVOs. Nod your heads if you know about IPVO and you have one handy. Okay, about a quarter of yous that I can see anyway. So those are available in the buildings. If you previously had one, you probably can sign it out of your building. Okay. If not, you can use your cell phone and log into a Google Meet with that. We'll try that, time permitting, towards the end. And then the 4th solution I'll give you is one that I know Chris Byrne has tried and that I will try, but I don't have mine yet because it's on order with Amazon and it now takes 3 weeks for Amazon Prime rather than 2 days. And that's buying what they call a drawing tablet. They're about $23 to $30, and I have some links in this presentation to them. And then they use a stylus to draw on that little pad and have it appear on your screen. And that'll work just like you were using a touchscreen device. So I'm going to give you a bunch of options. You can choose which ones fit your budget and your needs. And you can always ask me any questions about them afterwards if you want. All righty? All right, so touchscreen options. So I'm using a Google Chromebook right now, the Lenovo, that has a touchscreen built into it. And there are a bunch of different tools that you can use. There's tons of them out there. Not all of them are EdLaw 2D compliant, which you may have heard about, and that's New York State's thing to protect student privacy, and we'll be talking a lot more about it in the next year at Shen. Classflow right now has not been certified as EdLaw 2D compliant by Shen. However, Jamboard, because it's part of the Google core suite, is considered 2D compliant. So So in terms of protecting your student data, one of these doesn't necessarily, and one of them is okay for that. So we're going to walk through both of these and give you a quick tour of them. We're in kind of exigent circumstances right now, so things are a little bit more important to get the job done than it is to necessarily worry about how we're doing it with what tools we're using. So we'll show you Classflow and Jamboard. Classflow is made by Promethean, so they're a very reputable company, and we have all of their equipment in the schools also. So first up, we'll do Classflow, and then Jamboard we'll do next. Jamboard we just activated for everybody at Shen yesterday. Either yesterday or tomorrow, this morning. I can't remember which. I finally got it approved by IMS. So, all right, so Classflow. Classflow is a website. You just go to www.classflow.com, and you're going to choose I'm a teacher. When you log in the upper right-hand corner, it'll then put up a box that's a blue box and a green box. I'm a teacher or I'm a student. We say I'm a teacher. And then we say sign in with Google. You do not need to type in your credentials up here, nor should you. Just use this sign in with Google button right there. You will have to give Classflow permission to access your account. And then it loads the website. Now, Classflow is a really super powerful tool, and we are not going to talk about it today as a really super powerful tool. We're going to talk about it as just a simple digital whiteboard that you can quickly get up and running. The complicated part about it is you can actually create lessons where you import pictures, put them on the slides on the digital whiteboard, and then you can add to or mark them up. So it is possible in this create lesson section to add images or PDF pages into that lesson plan, is what they call their flip chart or slideshow, and then be able to mark on them with the tools that are in the digital whiteboard. Okay, Classflow has literally, and I'm not exaggerating, literally has hundreds of videos on YouTube showing you how to use Classflow. Okay, it's in between the 1 and 200 range at this point. So they walk you through every little piece of it. I've done it in greater detail. I'll do it again in greater detail sometime in the future. But that's that piece there. And you do need to use this resource tab up here if you want to load PDFs in so you can use them in the lesson plan. Okay, I can talk more about that with some of you separately. I just want to show you this quick instant whiteboard. I have something. I just want to do it with the students real quick. Click on instant whiteboard. Okay, it's going to come up in here in my screen. And then I have my slide carousel down here where you can see I've got just the section header and one slide. Okay, that one slide is my blank slide up here. If you use that lesson planner tool, you can put more than one blank slide in. Okay, you could put 10 blank slides in if you want and just save it as 10 blank whiteboards or whatever name you want to give it. Okay, the tool is pretty simple. Down here you have your text tool for typing text out. You have your shape tool. You have your pen, and there's several different pens, which we'll show you in a second. There's several different erasers. And then you have a toolbox that has a compass protractor and all the different types of math tools you might want built into it. Okay, and then you have the fill bucket here to fill shapes and stuff with different colors. We're going to talk mostly about the pen tool because that's what most of you are interested in, and that's because I'm using the touchscreen Chromebook too. When I click on the pen tool, if I click the little arrow above it, I can change to any one of a bunch of different colors. We'll go with our red. Okay, I can choose the thickness of my line. Okay, we'll make it a little thicker. And then I can choose whether I want a fine pen, a regular pen, or a highlighter to highlight content I've added to the slide. Okay, so I'm just going to choose the regular pen tool. And then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to use the stylus to write on the screen. And I think I did my, I don't know what grade math, 4th grade math? But about the right 4th or 5th, somewhere in there. Okay, I'm sure I did not do it to any of the next gen or Common Core standards in the way I solved the problem, but you can write anything on there. Okay, it does not do auto shape recognition like it does in the Promethean Active Inspire. Okay, you can use shapes though and create whatever shapes you want to use. Of course, I got to switch off of the pen tool to grab that and move it around. I can click on my fill tool over here, pick a color, click in the shape, fill it. Okay, so you have a shape tool. Ross, I couldn't see what you held up. Type it in the chat for me, will you? But Ross was being very clever. He was using his touchscreen device, and he wrote me out a little note, and he was holding it up to the camera. I do have you guys, by the way, if you notice my head going back and forth, I do have you in grid view over to the left so I can see all of you. Hopefully, it doesn't record the video that way, but I'm testing it to see, because most of the time I just leave that one in the presentation mode and record it that way, but I wanted to see what happens if I do it with grid view. So we may get a video with a little grid of all of you in it. Okay. 10 push-ups plus 5 push-ups equals 15 push-ups. So just so he doesn't think I'm being totally lazy down here in my basement, I have my little dumbbells, and I do little curls while I'm sitting here waiting to help people. Because I missed my volleyball after school. All right, so that's Classflow. It's a pretty simple tool. You can, when you go to exit it by clicking on the 3 horizontal bars, you can decide to save this presentation into your resource library. I'm not going to in this case. Don't save, but I will show you over here in my resource library. It does collect all of my previous presentations there. And if I go to New and File Upload, and I upload a PDF, what it will do is when I bring it in, it'll bring it in as a PDF, but it'll also, if you look at the top one there, bring it in as a lesson plan, which means it puts each page of the PDF on a different slide, and then you can open that up by hitting deliver or double clicking on it. Oh, I gotta hit deliver. I'm in the, this is the editor mode, by the way, that lesson plan editor. All right, so now when I deliver, notice I've got all my whiteboard tools down here, and I can do whatever I want to this particular document that's in there. There is a zoom tool over here in the bottom right hand corner where you can zoom in on that PDF you've uploaded. Oops, gotta switch to the mouse mode and move it so it's oriented on the screen however you'd like it. Okay, that's the zoom tool there. I often just take a picture of half of the PDF and put half on one page and half on the next page, because slides are landscape and PDFs generally are portrait. So I just snip half of it and put half on one page and half on another page to make it easier for the students to see. Okay, if you're wondering why my Spectrum bill's there, I've been troubleshooting people's internet issues at home with them and what plan they're on to make sure they have enough bandwidth to do what we're doing now. All right, so that is Classflow. It's just www.classflow.com, and you can sign in with your Shen Schools account to do that. Jamboard is even simpler. Okay, I put the address up here, jamboard.google.com, but you don't need to use it, because Jamboard is a tool that is built into Google. I am going to simply go over to a tab and open up my Google Drive. All right, you can see I got one sitting there that I just scribbled on, but all I have to do is click New up here, come down here to More, and then Jamboard will be right in there as a choice. Because Jamboard is made by Google, it saves the files right to your Google Drive, okay, and it's a digital whiteboard. So I'm going to select Google Jamboard, and it's going to bring me up in the web version of it. And I do want to show you the web version real quick before I show you the other version of it, because I want you to notice that all the tools aren't there. So you have over here the pen tool. Okay, when you click on the pen tool, you get different types of pen, brush, highlighter, 6 different colors. And you have your eraser tool. You have your sticky note tool. So if you want to add sticky notes to make this like Padlet, it works really well. Okay, it puts it right on the canvas there for you. You can import images, and then if you want to bring attention to something when you're talking to people, you can use the laser pointer and it just moves it around the screen. Okay, that's using the stylus on the Lenovo that gives you that effect, which is really cool. Okay, I can click on the pen tool. I can write on here. Works perfectly fine. Now, the reason why I mentioned to you that this is the web version of it, this is what all of us can use no matter what, is the web version. If you're on a Chromebook, you can install down here on your toolbar the Jamboard icon. Okay, so app, I should say. If I just come over here to the Play Store and I type in Jamboard, it'll come up, or it'll be right here in this menu that's below this, because these are the ones that IMS allows. And you can click open, or if you haven't installed it yet, you can click install. Once you've installed it, you don't have to go to the Play Store. You can simply click on your little starter here and type in Jam, and you'll see two Jamboards, one with a white circle, one without. The one with the white circle is the app. The other one is a shortcut to just going to your drive and doing it. So I'm going to open the app version. The reason why I open the app version is because it's got really two cool features. So I'm going to start a new Jamboard using the app. And I've got my slide up here, and I can add more slides by clicking the plus. But in the app, I can do this. In the other one, I can't. In the app, I can choose a new background for my slide and choose graph paper, lined paper, okay, gray graph paper. I can make the slide black and write on it with white ink. Okay, so you have a lot more options in the app than you do in just the web version. You can install the app on any Chromebook. It doesn't have to be a Lenovo. You're just not going to get the stylus control unless you have the Lenovo, but you can still use your mouse to write down here. Okay. Notice when I click on the pen tool this time, not only do I have all these pen tools, but I have these assistive drawing tools down here where Google will actually let me do handwriting recognition. So it converts it to typed text. I can do shape recognition, which is really cool. I just click on the shape recognition. I come back out here. I draw a shape, and then Google makes it into that shape, only a little bit more refined. Okay. And there is also a third one, which I haven't played with too much, and that's a drawing tool where if you draw a cat face, it makes it into a better cat face. Okay. I draw atrociously, so Google has a hard time figuring out what I'm drawing, even if I get close to what they do. But they do give you a little bar across the bottom that shows you potential options to choose from. Okay. So all of those are in the app, and they are not in the web version. So it looks like I turned on doodling. So let's see if I can do a cat face. And it thinks I drew a spider. Okay. So the example they use is a cat face, and I'm so bad at drawing, I can't even do that. But it's still a neat little tool. Okay. So you do also have a plus over here on the right-hand side where you have those things like the sticky note, insert an image. Drive content, you can insert a page from a Google slide or a Google Doc. The only problem with that is you also have to install the Google Drive app on the Chromebook. It can't just be the web version of Google. You have to have both the Jamboard app and the Google Drive app installed to do that. Okay. And then you can see there's stickers. You can take a picture from your webcam, or you can search things from your image library. Okay, so this is Jamboard. It's a pretty good, simple whiteboard. So I just went to page 2. Okay, and again, you have all the different pen tools. I know this is going to bug some of you. Anybody want to type it in the chat? Yes, only 6 colors. That's it. Okay, no infinite color palette, which all of us want. Now, I'm going to show you one last feature in Jamboard before we move on. I know I'm going at a fast pace, as the people from Maine would say, but I'm trying to cram a lot in for you in a short amount of time. So Jamboard has one other Google feature built into it that is awesome. What can we do with all the other Google tools that make them so powerful for us? Somebody type it in the chat, or somebody's type it in the chat for me. What's the best thing that Google has for us when we use any or all of their tools? The fact that sharing, yes, Devin, that's exactly it. Everything in Google is collaborative. We can share anything we want with anybody else. This Google Jamboard is also collaborative. You can assign it in Classroom where you make a copy for each student. You can assign it in Classroom where all the students are using the same Jamboard. Okay, it is completely compatible with all the other Google apps. So Devin was the one that typed sharing first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into here and I'm going to say add people. And then I'm going to type in a name. And I'm going to select Devin. And I'm going to say give her editing rights, not just viewing rights. Now, Devin will have access to this Jamboard. If she goes into her Google Drive and goes to shared with me, she should see it there. She probably will get an email also that's saying John Bullington has shared a Jamboard with you. If she opens it up and goes to slide 2, she can draw on it right now. I'll do the, my hands are up in the air so you know I'm not fooling you. Of course, Devin, I'm expecting you to be writing on slide 2 while my hands are up in the air. Nope, she's joined it. Now she switched to slide 2, and I can see all this, by the way. And now she's using the pen tool on the left, and she's trying to write with her mouse, which is difficult. All right. So you can make these Jamboards completely collaborative between you and your students. Great tool to use, especially if you're doing any one-on-one AIS with a student and you need them to write with you while you're talking to them in a Google Meet. Awesome feature of it. We just enabled Jamboard yesterday. As you guys learn more about it, please share with me because I am not an expert in everything. I just have the time to do these things. That's what Shen does for me. They let me learn every day, and I'm thankful for it. So as you guys learn, please share it with me and everybody else by letting me know how you use Jamboard. All right, so I'm going to get out of Jamboard right here. And again, they automatically save to your Google Drive, just like every other Google file. All right, so those were 2 options that work with our touchscreen Chromebooks, but you noticed Devin also used Jamboard without a touchscreen Chromebook. She just wrote on it with her mouse. Although I think Devin has, do you have a Lenovo, Devin? She's not nodding her head, so I'm going to go with no, she doesn't. Some of the 9th grade teachers may, depending on what happens. All right, so other options for us. Okay, non-touchscreen. Oops, sorry, I went to click twice. Non-touchscreen options, you can use Classflow or you can use Jamboard. I replaced Explain Everything with Jamboard. The reason for that is it's EdLaw 2D compliant. It's a Google Core product, so it saves right to our Google Drive. And Explain Everything only lets you have 1 slide for free. Everything else you have to pay for. So that's why I replaced it, but I forgot to take it off the 2nd slide. If you have your PC or Mac or Linux at home, not a Chromebook, you can download and install Active Inspire right on it, and then open up a Google Meet, open up Active Inspire, and do everything that you did in Active Inspire at school on your screen by using Google Meet to present it. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I see a couple people nodding their heads. Okay, you don't have to remake your presentations. You don't have to redo the wheel. You just have to make sure you're doing it not on a Chromebook, because Active Inspire cannot be installed on a Chromebook. Okay, PC, Mac, yes. Chromebook, no. And I don't think any of you have Linux computers because I don't think anybody in the world has them except for programmers. Okay. You can, it's a little clunkier. Also, use Remote Desktop, and I put a link in here for you. Remote Desktop is that tool that allows you to log into the Shen computer remotely, and it brings up a Windows desktop for you. So if you're on a Chromebook, you can connect via Remote Desktop, bring up that Windows desktop. That Windows desktop does have Active Inspire installed on it. It does have access to your F drive. So you could launch a flip chart from your F drive, open it in Active Inspire by using that Remote Desktop interface, and just make sure that you're in a Google Meet presenting before you do that. Then everything that shows up on your screen would show up on their screen. Okay, so you can do Active Inspire on a Chromebook by using Remote Desktop. All right, I'm going to switch. So if you're looking at my super awesome background, I want you to click on that one so it makes it full screen rather than the one that is the presenter mode. So I'm going to drop out of presenter mode over here for a second. And then I am going to switch to this over here. All right, so if you want to annotate over your desktop, you want to show a website or you want to show something that's on your desktop, not a slides presentation, not, can't think of the tool I was just talking about, Jamboard, okay? If you want to mark on your screen, there is a tool that IPEVO, who makes those document cameras, sells for free, gives away for free. You just have to go to their website, download it, and install it. It won't work on a Chromebook, will work on a Mac or a PC. It's called IPEVO Annotator. Okay, it's a little quick program that brings up this bar that looks like this when you open it. This bar has in it the annotation tools, and again, you have those common things where you can switch between a pen, a second pen, shapes. You can click on the arrow next to the pen to choose a different color. You can change the thickness. And what this tool does is it allows you to write right on your screen and annotate over whatever you're looking at. Okay, like I said, it can be anything. Okay, literally. So if I go up here, I can go to any website in the world. Oop, typed on the wrong keyboard. That is the problem with having two of these here. Notice that the problem, however, is your annotations don't go with whatever you're on, and they don't save. So I can clear this annotation, and then I can go back to my pen. Okay, and we can talk about whatever we want about COVID-19, because that's all there is in the news right now. Okay, so I'm on CNN website. So IPEVO Annotator, it works on Macs and it works on PCs, and it lets you essentially draw on anything that's on your screen. So you just go to Google Meet, you go to present mode, you bring up whatever you want to annotate over. Okay, it can be a PDF, it can be a Google slideshow, it can be a website, it doesn't matter. It lets you just draw on top of whatever you're looking at. It's like putting a piece of acetate on top of it, for those of you who remember overheads, and writing on it with a vis-a-vis marker. Okay, they don't correlate with what's below it. Okay, so this is your option. IPEVO Annotator, it's a free install. If you just Google IPEVO Annotator, or you click on the link I put in the thing, you can go right to their website and download and install it. Okay, it's a free download. Okay, and there's a few other tools in it. I'm not going to go through all of them. There are tools that are common to almost every type of digital whiteboard: protractors, rulers, erasers, stamps, okay, fill tools. All right, so that's IPEVO Annotator. I can never, oh, I know how to get rid of it. I got to go over to my other screen here. All right, so last up, but certainly not least, we have the idea of using a document camera or cell phone. Again, we're going to be in a Google Meet, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're simply going to add that device to the Google meeting. So I have my cell phone here with me, okay? I'm going to simply go to the browser, and I'm going to type in the address of this Google Meet. So met.google.com/UTT-KTNM. I should probably have my reading glasses on because this is going much slower. BTR. All right. So as you can see, on my device, it's now loading up Google Meet. And it's going to say, do you want to join? I typed it and it disappeared on me, so give me one more second, because this is kind of cool. I'm giving up. Here's my glasses. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say join meeting. All right, so I'm going to say Sorry. Thought I had the volume turned all the way down. All right, so now what you should